everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from the Armageddon box. Yes, we are back once more with another big old stompy orc thing. Yes, we have the all-new Big Mek Dakkarig, and yes, here it is. It is big. It is mean. It's going to be red because it's going to be an Evil Sunz Big Mek Dakkarig, and a massive thank you goes out to Games Workshop for sending me this one early to build up a paint with all of you, and that's exactly what we're going to do starting now. So it's been primed in Wraithbone, and as ever when we're painting big orc stuff, we're going to start with the metallics. So the colour we're going to be using first is a roughly, no, there's no roughly here, we're just going to be using some Iron Warriors, and we're going to be applying this over top of everything that we want to be metal. So this is going to be pretty much all of the mechanical details, the exoskeleton, this kind of area of the gun up here, for example. There's going to be a lot of silver, but we are also then going to add some variation to that silver by applying some additional metallics afterwards. But for now, we just want to get this Iron Warriors over top of everywhere that's going to be metallic. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take just a little bit of some thinned down Runelord Brass, and we're going to use this to sort of break up our silver a little bit. So we're going to be applying this over things like these vents or the gubbins at the top of the boss pole or over top of the bullet casings, etc, etc. And so to break up that metallic even more, we're going to take some Castellax Bronze. I'm going to use this to pick out a couple of extra details, just to add that little bit more of kind of, well, visual interest to the rest of the metallics and the model. So we can take on things like the petrol can back here and the sort of panels on the vents at the top there, for example. So with all of our metallics now applied, what we can do is shade it using some Agrax Earthshade over the top of all of the silver, brass, bronze. You name it. With all of our metallics now base coated and shaded, we're going to highlight them using a dry brush of some Ironbreaker. We're going to apply this over top of, well, all of it. We're just going to dry brush all of our metallics. And then next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion. We're going to apply this over top of all of the power cables, and we're going to apply this over the top of the sort of casings of the missiles, and we're also going to apply this over the top of the large casing of the big Dakka gun on the front, as well as any other little details you want to be black. And so with all of that Black Legion applied, we now want to take some Cygor Brown. We're going to apply this over the top of all of the leather details on the Big Mek himself. And now it's time for the big one. We're going to take some Baal Red. And we're going to apply this over the top of, well, pretty much all of the remaining details. It's not all of them, because we've got the orc skin and things like that as well. But for all of the armor and the banner on his back and the armor on the Big Mek himself as well, we're going to take this Baal Red and just apply it over the top. Once that Baal Red is fully dry, we then take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Flesh Tearers Red. And we apply this over the top, well, of all the red. With that red all applied and dried, we are now going to take just a little bit of some Iyanden Yellow. And we're going to apply this over the top of that sort of footer on the banner on his back. So now it's time to take some Gutrippa Flesh, and we're going to apply this over the top of the Big Mek's skin, just avoiding his bottom lip and teeth. And whilst we wait for the Gutrippa Flesh to dry, we're going to take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply it over the one singular skull that's underslung on the Big Mek Dakkarig. Next up, we're going to take some Nuln Oil and we're going to apply this over the top of the warheads of the missiles, or rockets. And then next up we take some Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of his teeth and his bottom lip. And once that Guilliman Flesh is fully dry, we take some Biel-Tan Green and we apply this over the top of all of the skin. With the skin all shaded, it's a little bit early on, but what we're going to do next is we are going to take some thinned down Averland Sunset. And we're going to use this to draw in our Evil Sunz lightning stuff. Now you can do this all over and as much of this as you like. I'm just going to do a little bit of this kind of irregular sort of lightning slash flames-esque kind of designs that the Evil Sunz have on the kind of two sides of the Dakkarig. But you could do things like on the shoulders of the Big Mek himself. I'm going to do a couple of little triangles as well at the front as well, just to sort of break up all of that red really. And really it's a case of just very carefully using the tip of your brush to draw out the sort of flames, but kind of making it quite angular. You don't want this to be smooth or anything like that, unlike for example, like a salamander, where it would be smooth and rounded. For these guys, it's just angular. With that all done, the Dakkarig is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. So now it's time to take it to the next level by adding some highlights. And we're going to start with a dry brush of Karak Stone. And we're going to be using this over quite a few of the details on the model. So really what we're looking to do is apply this over the top of all of the black details. And this is going to include things like the sort of large Dakka gun. But we're also going to be using this to dry brush the brown as well on the Big Mek himself. And because this model is so big and angular, it means we can do a dry brush to highlight all of the red. And the colour we're going to be using to highlight that is Evil Sunz Scarlet, because of course it is. It's an Evil Sunz model. So we're just going to dry brush this over the top of all of our red. And because we've done an Evil Sunz dry brush, it means we can do a Squig Orange dry brush. So we're going to use some Squig Orange to do a little spot highlight here on all of the red. Again, just a very, very gentle dry brush. And then next up what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of warmth to some of our metallics here and there by taking some Fuegan Orange. And we're going to use this over the top of things like the bullet casings down here. We're also going to use this over the top of the Runelord Brass of the casings or the vents on the sort of the engine stack, and over the top of the gubbins at the top of the boss pole as well. So not doing it over the top of all the Runelord Brass, but just a couple of little bits and bobs here and there just to add a little bit of extra warmth in. With that Fuegan Orange all applied, we then take some Corax White, and we're going to use this over the top of, well, as a relayer for all of the warheads down on the rockets. And with that Corax White all applied, we then take a little bit of some Talassar Blue. I'm going to apply this over the top of the little lenses and buttons scattered around the model. So there's the one there on his eye. There's a couple of buttons on his wrist as well. Next up, we want to take a little bit of some thinned down Screaming Skull. And we're going to use this to pick out his teeth and to highlight the little skull on the underside of the Dakkarig. And so to finish off, believe it or not, we are at the end now of our Big Mek Dakkarig. What we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Ogryn Camo, and we're going to use this to highlight all of our Big Mek's skin. And And there we have it, the base all complete. There is a video for that coming very, very, very soon. I just haven't had the time to edit it up because of how hot it's been, but it is going to be dropping very, very soon, I do promise that. But with the base now complete, our Big Mek Dakkarig is now finished, and well, it's a big boy. It's the biggest boy in Armageddon, and well, it's beautiful. I really like it. Looks great as an Evil Sunz one, doesn't it?
If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.